A new beginning. Yuki was a 12-year-old girl from Japan. She had always lived in Tokyo, where she walked to school with her friends, ate lunch with them, and played in the park after class. Everything was familiar. But now, everything had changed. Her father got a new job in the United States, and her family had moved to a small town in California. From the moment she stepped off the plane, Yuki noticed how different everything was. The buildings were not as tall as in Tokyo, the streets were wider, and people smiled at her and said, "Hi," even though they were strangers. In Japan, people did not greet strangers like that. It felt strange but also nice. Yuki's new house was bigger than their apartment in Tokyo, and she had her own room for the first time. But even with all the space, she felt lonely. She missed her friends, her school, and the sound of people speaking Japanese everywhere. Here, she could only hear English, and she hardly understood anything. The night before her first day of school, Yuki lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. She was excited but also scared. What if I don't make any friends? What if I can't understand anything? She thought. Her mother sat beside her and stroked her hair. Tomorrow is a new beginning, her mother said gently. Just do your best. The next morning, Yuki put on her uniform, a simple white shirt and a blue skirt, even though most American students didn't wear uniforms. It made her feel more comfortable. When she arrived at school, her heart pounded. Students were laughing and talking in English, moving quickly through the hallways. A teacher greeted her at the door. "Good morning, Yuki. Welcome to our class." Yuki knew good morning, but the other words were too fast. She froze, not knowing what to say. The teacher smiled warmly and led her to her seat. During the lessons, Yuki listened carefully, but everything sounded like a blur. The teacher wrote words on the board, and Yuki copied them in her notebook, even though she didn't understand them. When the students laughed at a joke, she felt left out because she didn't know what was funny. At lunchtime, she sat at a table alone, looking at her bento box. It had rice balls, onigiri, tamagoyaki, sweet egg omelette, and some vegetables. Back in Japan, her friends would have opened their bento boxes at the same time, and they would have shared snacks and talked. Here, nobody sat with her. Suddenly, a girl with curly brown hair walked over and sat across from her. "Hi. I'm Emma. What's your name?" Yuki understood this question. She smiled shyly and said, "I am Yuki." Emma pointed at Yuki's lunch. "That looks really good. What is it?" Yuki hesitated, trying to find the right words. "This is onigiri. Rice ball." Emma's eyes widened. "Wow. That's so cool. I have a peanut butter sandwich. Want to try a bite?" Yuki giggled and shook her head. "No, thank you." Emma grinned. "Okay. But if you ever want to trade snacks, let me know." For the first time that day, Yuki felt a little more comfortable. Every day, Yuki tried to learn more English. She watched cartoons with subtitles, read simple books, and practiced speaking in class. But sometimes, she made mistakes. One day, she was feeling sick and told her teacher, "I have cold." The teacher smiled and gently corrected her, "You mean, I have a cold." Some classmates laughed, and Yuki felt her face turn red. She wanted to disappear. That night, she told her mother, "English is too hard. I will never be good at it." Her mother smiled and said, "Do you remember when you learned to ride a bicycle?" Yuki nodded. "Yes, I fell many times." "But you never gave up," her mother said. Learning a language is the same. You will fall, but if you keep trying, one day you will ride smoothly. Yuki thought about this for a long time. Maybe mistakes were okay. One afternoon, she saw Emma and some other kids playing soccer in the field. Yuki loved soccer, but she felt shy. What if they didn't want her to play? Then she remembered her mother's words, "Keep trying." She took a deep breath, walked up to Emma, and asked, "Can I play too?" Emma's face lit up. "Of course, Yuki. Come on." Yuki ran onto the field. The sun was shining, the wind was cool, and for the first time since arriving in America, she felt truly happy. She still had a lot to learn, but she knew she would get better at English, at school, and at life in her new home. It was truly a new beginning. As Yuki walked home with Emma and her new friends, she felt a warmth in her heart that had nothing to do with the afternoon sun. She still had a lot to learn, new words, new customs, and new experiences, but she was no longer afraid. She knew now that mistakes weren't something to be embarrassed about. They were just steps on the path to growth. Looking up at the sky, she smiled to herself. She had started a new life in a new country, and though it had been difficult, she had found kindness, friendship, and the courage to keep going. No matter how many challenges lay ahead, Yuki was ready to face them, with confidence, with hope, and with a heart open to all the wonderful possibilities of tomorrow. That was our story today. Yuki's journey showed us that learning and adapting to something new can be difficult, but with patience, friendship, and courage, we can overcome challenges and grow. Now, let's learn 8 key vocabulary words from the story. Nervous, feeling worried or unsure about something new. Example from the story: Yuki felt nervous on her first day of school because everything was so different. Encourage, to give someone support or confidence. Example from the story: Yuki's mother encouraged her by reminding her of how she had learned to ride a bicycle. Mistake, something that is wrong or incorrect. Example from the story: when Yuki said, "I have cold," her teacher kindly corrected her mistake. Confident, feeling sure of yourself and your abilities. Example from the story: after practicing English and making new friends, Yuki became more confident. Belong, to feel like you are part of a place or group. Example from the story: at first, Yuki felt out of place, but when she made friends, she finally felt like she belonged. Struggle, to find something difficult or challenging. Example from the story. At first, Yuki struggled to understand what her classmates were saying, but she kept trying. Friendship, a relationship between people who like and support each other. Example from the story. Emma's kindness helped Yuki build a strong friendship in her new school. Opportunity, a chance to do something new or better. Example from the story. Moving to the US gave Yuki the opportunity to learn English and experience a new culture. Keep practicing these words, just like Yuki practiced English. Every mistake is a step toward learning, and every new experience is an opportunity to grow. See you next time for another great story. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more classic tales brought to life. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think really happened that night?